Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person. And today I want to talk to you about Sword of Hope 2 for the Game Boy. But if you'd rather see a written review of this, you can go to www.thegravelpit.net or click on the link in the description below, or wherever they move it next. And you can check that out instead. Or, before or after, in addition to this. I'd like it if you still watched. But we'll see. So, let's just get to the thing. So, Sword of Hope 2, I assume, is a sequel to a game called Sword of Hope. I don't know what system that's for. When I was looking around on the eShop just for some random stuff to get, on my 3DS, I saw Sword of Hope 2. I did not see the first Sword of Hope hanging around there. But, I was interested because it looked like, a fun little primitive RPG, and, well, it is. It's a very, very primitive, RPG. You go around and, you are trying to, I think the basic story is, like, the evil king Zakdos. He was sealed away, I guess, in the first game, and someone broke the seal and let him out, and he's trying to take over the land again. So you have to stop him. You're Prince Theo, the prince of the land. And you go off and you have a party of characters. Basically, it's you and this other character that you find early on. And you have a third character slot, which switches out characters as you progress through the story. But I don't want to give too much of the very basic and not really interesting story away. Well, you move around and you fight enemies and get experience and gold. You level up, you can buy equipment. You can fight either with just a standard fight command where you hit things, or you can use magic, so you use spells on them. So you have HP and you have MP, and you have stats like attack, defense, and agility. And those are your only stats. And of course it's a Game Boy game, so everything's, black and white. And I think it's kind of neat how, you find stuff, and, like, there's a bunch of options on the side. Like, the way you do stuff is, like, there's, like, a little, like, there's those different, like, boxes around. Like, there's a little, like, rectangular box. You'll see in the video, I guess. But there's a rectangular box, like, on the top that says where you are, and there's a box in the middle of the screen, like, that's actually supposed to show you, like, the visual representation of, like, this is where you are right now. And there's, like, a box on the lower left which, like, for moving, and there's arrows, and you hit, like, so you have to go click on the left, the right, the up, or the down arrow. And, like, I don't know if this used to be a computer game, maybe? And then there's also a box for, like, your other actions, like, look, open, hit, item, magic, some other thing. And it's so, like, delightfully primitive. Like, I shouldn't like it, but I really do. I was like, it's kind of cool to see stuff like this and try to figure it out, and some of the stuff is a little bit like, what? This is what I had to do? I didn't know I had to do that, but I guess I figured it out. And, like, some of that's kind of cool, where you feel kind of accomplished that you figured out what you're supposed to do. But, like, some of the stuff is, like, not well explained, and again, it's like trial and error and figuring stuff out. It's kind of part of the experience, and I think that's cool, is that the experience isn't just like, okay, like, I'm getting stronger because I'm fighting things and stuff, but part of it's like, I'm also growing as a player because I'm learning what I'm supposed to do in the game, and I'm figuring stuff out on my own. But, like, it's fun. I really like a lot of that. And it's very simple. You just kind of keep walking around, killing things, and then you get some items, you solve a couple puzzles, and then they're like, go here, and then you're like, go here, and you just kind of keep moving through the game. Fighting all these different enemies, and that's kind of cool. Every once in a while, you'll go into rooms and stuff, and, like, they'll give you a description, or you'll look around, they'll give you a description of what's around, because they couldn't necessarily show all of it. I don't know, it's cool. And I was having a lot of fun with it. There are some problems with this game, though. I mean, obviously, like, it's very dated and everything, but, like, with the arrows and navigating in that manner, sometimes hitting, sometimes it feels like you're like a bird's eye view, like hitting up is going forward and hitting the down one is going backwards. But sometimes hitting up is making you go upwards, sometimes it's making you go downwards, and sometimes it's confusing to tell, like, you go into a room, it's like, do I hit down, does that go back, or am I going to go down? And you have to really keep track of where you are, and, like, mapping it, like, mentally in your head, because some of the areas look kind of similar in places. So it's very mindfucky at times. And a lot of the stuff, it's hard to tell what it is, because I guess they wanted the text big in the window so you could read it. Because I'm thinking this probably came out for the, like, original Game Boy before the Game Boy Pocket was a thing, or before it was, well established. So they wanted it, bigger text and stuff so you could see it, and I can see it, but a lot of it's been shortened because it doesn't fit then. So it's like, you pick up items, and you don't know what they are. You're looking at equipment, and it's like, I have a vague idea of what that is, like a sword or a shield, I guess. I guess SWD is a sword, I hope. I found something called, like, a WD space BRMG, and I was like, I don't fucking wooden something, and I finally, like 20 minutes later, I was like, oh, maybe it's like a wooden boomerang. That's probably what it is. It's like you just kind of figure it out. You don't know if any of that equipment's going to be good or bad. Like, you kind of just go by, like, okay, like, what price is this thing in the shop? Because I don't get a list of what it does to my stats or anything. So, like, you just kind of have to do that and hope you're getting something better, and if there's any special effects to it, good luck figuring it out. You just trial and error, figure it out, I guess. I don't know. So that's kind of, that can be annoying. Kind of neat, but kind of annoying. I can see both ways. And, it's kind of the same with the magic, too. Where it's like you have spells, and they just, like, have, like, shortened names of. Some of them are more self-explanatory, but some of them you're kind of like, I guess, like, usually most of those you can tell what they are. Like, they'll just be like one word, so it's basic. You're like, okay, I get it. But some of them you're like, I see the word, I don't necessarily know what that means. It's like I have a medic, I have heal, I have recover. What is this, like a miracle? What the fuck does that mean? Cure? What's the difference between these? And, you just kind of have to trial and error, figure it out. And sometimes you use magic and it won't do anything, and you just waste MP. And you're like, okay, I guess it was just, I didn't need to do that then. And it's I don't know. I can see where it's, like, cool to figure it out on your own. There is some merit to that. But at the same time, it's like, I'd be better if I could just know, so I wouldn't have to do that. It's kind of wasting my time to do it. But my big beef with the game, because I was willing to let a lot of that go, because I thought it was kind of charming, charmingly primitive, is about how I would describe it, is the big problem is just that the last leg of the game, like, you go through this huge, like, labyrinth of a dungeon doing specific things. You have to solve some, like, tough puzzles, and you have to, like, navigate in this place that looks like the same, like every room in there looks so much the same that it's hard to navigate it. I had to look up, like, a map. It's like I keep getting lost, I don't understand. And on top of that, there's a bunch of enemies, which I was grinding for a long time. Like, there were a couple spots where I was like, okay, the one part I jumped ahead in the game, and, like, enemies are way too tough, so I went grinding for a while. And I didn't mind doing that once there. I went grinding again to get the rest of this equipment that I could get that was better than my current equipment. I didn't mind grinding at that point either, because I was getting experience and working towards this equipment. But then this part was, like, very shortly after that last grinding session, and it's like, these enemies are ridiculously strong. Like, I had, like, even, like, I can't even, like, grind in that area because it's too difficult. And the place before that I could grind at, that's the next best thing, it's significantly less of a payoff for doing it, so it would take way longer. And it was like, I have to go this, and, like, I'm fighting all these enemies, and, like, there are these, like, most of the treasure chests you find in there are just, like, fake treasure chests that are just like, oh, great, I found a mimic, and it's just gonna fucking, like, hurt the shit out of me fighting them. They're starting to really strong, they keep using spells on each other to make each other buff, and it's like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. And then there's a few mini-bosses I fought in there, and the thing that's insane is that the mini-bosses that are fixed, that appear there, only until you beat them and then they're gone, were easier to beat than the fucking standard enemies running around. I don't understand why that even is, and my only explanation is probably that I'm supposed to be using some sort of magic spells that are going to destroy these enemies a lot quicker, but I don't really use magic except to heal and revive my characters, so I was mostly just hitting everything, and that's possibly because I'm a big fucking idiot. But it just seemed like it was way too hard. It was annoying. I got to the last guy. I died on him. I didn't want to go through the whole thing again and try to grind again, because I still couldn't grind in there. And, you know, to be totally fair about the whole situation, at that point I did just say fuck it. So, yeah, it's not necessarily a fair review of me to say, but it's that part is just way too ridiculous, a ridiculous jump, and they expect way too much, and it's just not worth the time to grind on it anymore. It wasn't fun at that point, and if the grinding becomes just tedious and annoying rather than being fun, that's a bad sign. Like I said, this is on the Nintendo eShop, so I can't hold it up. I don't have the physical version. And it was only like $3, but still, like it's charmingly primitive, and most of the game is pretty fun. But the last leg of the game is just annoying, and I quit. I wasn't gonna finish it. What I would say is that like $3 isn't a lot. You know, you might enjoy it more than I did. You might enjoy it less, but $3 isn't a whole lot of money for a full game like that. And I guess, I don't know, basically, it's very primitive, and other games have been designed better on the same system, so if you want to get an RPG for the Game Boy, get something else. Get Pokemon, Red and Blue and Yellow are all on that, and I don't know, I'm sure there's others too that I just haven't played either, but there's better RPGs to get than those, so don't waste your time with it. It's so dated, and like at this point too, it's like it's not really worth going back for, honestly, is the point. You just don't. I would say give it a pass, unless you really want to have from the footage you've seen, if you thought that was good, or unless you want to have a really charmingly primitive time and then get frustrated at the end of it, then go for it. So, what did you guys think of Sword of Hope 2? Have you even heard of that? Because I hadn't heard of it before, ever. Is there a Sword of Hope 1? I would think there is, but what is that on? What's that like? Is this like a port from the PC? And are there other Sword of Hope games, like, besides 2? Is there a 3, or more? Leave that in the comments if you feel like it. I could just Google it, but, I won't. So, that's that. So, I'm Sam, real person. Again, if you want to see the written review of that, you can go to www.thegravelpit.net or go to the link in the description. And I will see you guys next time, hopefully with better fucking game.